I am your DM for the night, Hunter, and tonight we have our players. Thunder. We have our players. I always get this. Get it mixed up by if I should call you by your player names, whatever. Uh, okay, Thunder, Heaven, and Derek. Or excuse me. It's been about 2 weeks now, but we are ready to get the game out of the way. You guys want to introduce yourselves? For anyone who's new here?
Ladies first.
Oh, me? Oh, okay.
Yep, ladies first.
I'm Empress Heaven Darling. World traveler. And now agent of FBI so far.
Right. And Thunder, if you'd like to.
Sure, yeah. My name's Thomas. Please excuse the barking dogs in the background. They're just happy. I'm Thomas playing Thunder. Tonight's lovely game. I'll be playing Derek.
Okay. Hi, I'm Craig. I should be playing, as mentioned, Derek Bowman, a kind of washed out stage musician who also happens to be a vampire of the Trivia clan.
Alright. And unfortunately, Dream cannot be here tonight. Some things came up, but that is alright. We can still continue the game for the time being. Alright. So everything's looking good. Alright. So now if you guys are ready, we can continue on.
Yay!
Alright, so the setting is now in the side of a mortician's building, right beside of a hospital. It is late at night. It looks almost like it's going to rain a little bit. But just a while ago, you were shown up by the mortician at the door. He was getting ready to slam it right back in your face and tell you we don't want any. Before you're able to before Heaven was literally able to put her foot in the door and stop him, and convince him to let all of you in. Oh, and as a reminder, all of you at this point have fake IDs. Do you remember what your names are?
Nope.
Right. Well,
But I looked down at mine just to recap.
Right. Okay, so for Derek, yours is Mason Perez. For Thunder, yours is Dre Fargo. And Heaven is Melanie Hale.
I'm the agent of Hale.
You went from heaven to Halo. Alright,
You're back.
Dre Fargo.
Alright. So, as you were let in, the mortician closed the door right behind you, proceeding to lock the door, or for pocketing the key and turning to you, and he asks, so I take it you want to see the body from the murder the other night. He says,
Yes, right away, please.
he still has a very squinted eye at you, looking to not trust you in the slightest, but very carefully he just starts walking, and as he walks towards the hallway, he turns to you and says, "Follow me." As you walk down the hallway, you notice the stale light overhead, giving the room a very palish appearance, unnatural. It gives the what's the word? It gives the appearance that everything is clean, but at the same time very stale, lifeless in a way. As he's walking, he says, I've had a good few people walk in here asking about it. Mainly just cops, occasional detective. He gives you a side glance. I don't know what any of the reviews are.
We're fed, right? Love that.
I believe so.
Yes, that is correct.
I'll say, I'll look him right in the eyes. I'll say, don't worry about it too much. It's an ongoing case, and unfortunately, none of us discuss much information. All we can say is, we're here and investigates the remains of Vic, and we'll try and be out of your hair as quick as possible. Sorry about the lateness of the hour. Pointing like forward, like to like the morgue, I'll say the dead don't sleep. So
He says as he walks forward, getting to a door at the end of the hallway before twisting the knob and opening it up. Inside, you see several tables, about 3 tables laid out in the center. And along the wall, you can see rows and rows of drawers from top to the bottom of a wall, reaching from one end to the next, each one with a number and occasionally a small name underneath. The mortician walks up to a side desk, turning on a light and looking through a set of documents on it. Let's see, he says. What was the name of that girl again? He flips through it, flips to the one file, scowling a bit before tossing it on the side, for looking through another one. And he eventually goes, here we go. Jennifer Vaughn. And she is in, looks like this drawer over here. Shutting the file down, closed, he sets it on the table for turning away and moving over to the wall, one of the walls with the several drawers. Getting to one, he claps onto it, hitting the latch on the side, or pulling the drawer back. And inside, you see a body draped with a white rag, a white cloth over it, exposing only the feet, with a big toe having a tag on it with the name Jennifer Vaughn. And this is the body.
I'll look at the lady and say thank you very much.
Lady?
Sorry, it's a man, right?
Yeah, it's a man.
All right, sorry. I'll look at him and say, "Oh, sorry, sir. I really do appreciate everything you've done. What seems to be the cause of the punctures, do you think?"
Hard to say, he says, looking down at the body as he reaches down, grabs the top of the cloth, pulling it back a little bit to show the face of the dead woman. Despite looking very pale, she has a calm look on her face, mouth slightly ajar. And on the side of her neck, you can see 2 puncture wounds. The mortician looks it over before he looks back at you, and he says, according to forensics, according to forensics, he says the body was covered in a series of wounds. What you see right now is only is only one of the wounds. If I pull it back down any further, you'll see the other. I'm sure you don't want to see any of that. But
Well, we have to investigate everything, so it would behoove you to show us the rest of it.
he
We
looks
can
at
do a
the
further investigation on our own time at this moment. I would just, right now I was figuring we could just ask him a couple of questions and then do our own investigation over the body after the coroner leaves. Would you agree?
I do not agree.
Oh, forgive me.
I would like to see the body.
he glances over at everyone before
Mm.
giving a slight shrug, and he says, "Suit yourselves." As he clasps the end of the sheet and starts pulling it down to her ankles. You see the woman mainly nude, but you'll see gashes and slashes all along her body.
Hmm.
It looks like an animal did that.
Now, if you'll see, he says as he pulls out a metallic tool from his side and starts tapping along the body, specifically the wounds. The wounds vary from bludgeoning to slashing. What looks like a bite right here. The body is completely torn apart.
Hmm.
I mean,
That is
it,
interesting.
it seems like it's fully intact, not torn apart.
Oh, the gashes overall, and he gives a small shrug again, showing. From I can tell, most of these were a few of these were done with what looks like weapons, specifically these slashes on the side. As for the gashes, that could be any form of weapon, probably the back of a hammer, or
Screwdriver.
if the screwdriver is finally moved around. Yes.
Well, this is terrible. But do you think that the wounds on the neck are consistent with? Do you think that the blood loss occurred there, or do you think that they occurred from? Do you think that the person died from this bludgeoning damage?
That's the interesting thing, he says, as he carefully tilts her head to the side, using the tool to point at the holes in her neck. This wound right here is older than these wounds right here,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
judging by coagulation of the blood.
DM, can
On
you
the-
distinguish which wound? Because we can't see where you're pointing.
Uh, he's using one hand to hold her head slightly to the side, and he uses his other hand with the tool to point at the holes on her neck.
So the holes on her neck are older than the rest of the body.
Hmm. He
Weird.
says,
Okay.
Like, do they appear to be
Ch-
like bite marks, like from like a vampire?
"That's the thing." He says,
No, I'm
"They
asking
line
that
up."
out of game. I'm asking that out of game.
Yeah, they look to be like that of a bite mark.
Okay.
He points at the bite mark on the side of the neck, and he says, "Judging by coagulation from the neck here, uh, a lot from the small blood stains, this wound is older." He says as he moves his hand down to the other wounds than these in particular. And on that note, blood coagulation for these wounds doesn't seem to line up with the severity that they're inflicted on her. It's an odd case, I would say, he says as he stands up, toying with the tool in his hand. But it seems like these wounds happened, I would say, about an hour or so later after the bite mark. And they didn't expel as much blood as they should from how severe they are.
Hmm.
So this alleged vampire or bite mark, you say, I am
Yep.
trying to find the why would the motivation be to tear up the body after? Who would do that?
He looks at you
And
quizzically.
where are you getting this vampire bullshit?
You said the bite mark.
He did. I point to the coroner. Are you
He
imposing that
waves.
there's some
And then
vampire?
you said the vampire. Or did you say that out of game? I'm sorry.
I said it out of game.
Oh, never mind.
He gives you a weird look, like.
Well, no, pretend I didn't say that, because if he didn't,
I hit him with
he
a
was saying
forgetful mind. Bam. He forgets
okay.
everything.
Okay.
If we do this too much, he'll literally go into a coma, so he can't do too much.
Okay.
He pauses for a second.
I just erase his memories of that brief conversation. And
he says,
I'm looking at him and I restart the conversation at, huh? What do you think caused these grievous puncture, stab and slices?
"It could be anything," he says as he looks at it. It could be.
Yeah, I use my forgetful mind. So forgetful mind literally allows me to erase, like literally brief, like not even brief, but like long segments of like information or lengths of time. Like it could be almost like a quarter of a day to like half of a day, and I
Right.
could literally make them believe like whatever I tell them. So, yeah, I'll just bring it back to when we were talking about what could have caused the stabs, the grievous wounds, and whatnot. So keep going. Sorry.
All right. So he keeps the head tilted, looking at the wound. He says, "Well, all I can say is it does fall in line with a bite mark. My best guess," he says, "is someone got extremely drugged up, probably assaulted her. Aside from that, it could be slight." Oh, never mind. He says as he looks through the notes. The bite marks note a hint of dried saliva on the side. So my assumption is that someone drugged up or messed up in some other way bit into her. I can't explain the blood loss though.
So you think that maybe she was drugged to overdose, and then they took the blood after?
I
cannot say, he says. I'm only
Well,
telling
you're
you
a coroner. This is your job.
Yeah, were there drugs in her system when she was found?
None whatsoever, he
Okay,
says.
so she has not been she's not been under the influence of any narcotics or any drugs of any
The most we found at the time was a very, very slight amount of alcohol, but nowhere near the amount needed for inebriation. From what we could tell, she should have been completely sober.
For all we know, this could have been a lover situation gone bad. All right.
Well, that is just speculation at the moment. We still have to finish our investigation. We should not make assumptions.
I'm just saying what it could be. I don't know. You know me, guys.
You said there was saliva near the bite marks. Were we able to discover anything? Were you able to run a DNA test on that to see if you got anything?
I sent some samples to forensics, the physician said, but I have yet to hear back from them.
Do you have an ETA on that?
None whatsoever, he says. In fact, I got a message from them saying that due to difficulties, the results from the samples will be delayed.
Difficulties?
Difficulties, he says.
That covers a whole range of possibilities? Is there anything? What specific difficulties would cause such a delay?
You know as much as I do, he says. He just says they just sent me a message saying that due to internal difficulties within their infrastructure as well as with the sample, they can't send me any conclusive results.
Have to rely on the government work, huh?
Well,
Thank you.
Yeah, I do not under. Yes, this is your one job. I do not understand.
He just hums slowly. And he looks at you and says, "Do you need to see? Do you need to examine more of the body, or is this enough?"
I look over at my colleagues.
It is enough for me. Yes.
I concur with Agent Hale.
I'm good.
All right, then.
Thank you, my son.
With that, he reaches down to the I keep on using different terms, but I'm sorry. He reaches down to the sheet, grabbing onto it and pulling it back over her face before shutting the door to the drawer and walking back over to the desk. Is there anything else that you need, or can I get back to my work?
Oh no, you're quite all right. Well, oh, did we get the name of the Vic?
The name. He looks over at the open folder that he was sifting through earlier. The name is Jennifer Vaughn.
Ah, thank you. Is there any other information that any of y'all might need? Anything else? Like out of game?
There was a second victim, right?
Yeah, the fresh one. I thought that was
So Jennifer
the-
Vaughn was the first victim,
Mm-hmm.
or the earlier victim?
Yeah, she was the first victim.
Okay.
Did we
That-
get any information on the
No, it
second
said
victim?
Jennifer Vaughn. Yeah, Jennifer Vaughn is the first victim. I was looking over my notes. Second victim hasn't been released yet. We're going to investigate both and then talk to the medical examiner. The first one we think is an actual vampire kill. The second one was found with false vampire teeth and not enough blood at the scene. So that's the body that we're trying to get more information on.
Which is this one?
He just said that was the name of the first victim.
Okay. So we need to go get
So I think we just looked at the first victim. We need to see the second one.
Okay. Do we have the name of the second victim?
No, you don't.
That's what we came here to find out, and to also see the body.
Excuse me, but there happens to be a second victim that might be connected to this case. Another individual with similar wounds. By any chance, did they end up here?
The second victim, yes. He says as he leans back against the table. We just received that one. I'm examining it as we speak in the other room. I can't give you any conclusive evidence about it just yet, but so far it looks very similar to the first case.
Well, how about this? Why don't you do this for us? Why don't you go in there and you take your notes, you do everything you're doing, and we just sit in and watch. And we just, kind of hang out. And that way, I mean, I look over at everybody. I'm like, Hale, I mean, you don't have much going on tonight.
I think if we just look at the body, that would be fine. Yes.
Oh, you're fine. Okay. Well, I mean,
He eyes you a bit suspiciously, but he says, "Is this within your jurisdiction?"
not really. No.
Yes.
We need to wait.
Yes, it is within our jurisdiction. Shush.
No, it is not.
Shush.
As
It is within our jurisdiction.
Federal. It's definitely jurisdiction.
So I'm gonna like step forward a little bit
I'm
because
trying
I'm
to
not
dick
trying
my
to.
juris.
Yeah, I got you, but I'm not trying to be like literally breaking any form of like federal law that could draw attention to us and then have cameras put on us because we already have cameras looking at us. So, my character he'd be like stop, and
But we have IDs that identify us as federal agents. As
yeah,
far
but
as they know, we are federal agents. So
but realistically, you still as a federal agent don't want to push the boundaries and break the law.
I'm not breaking the law for investigating a case.
Yeah, but there are certain like. Oh, how about this? Should I roll to determine if there's like a certain order of things that are supposed to happen until we're supposed to be allowed to get what we need? Like, do you need me to roll for that? Like, would it be like? Because I'm just worried that like, we come in, we throw, we're the boss, we make and then that kind of throws up red flags and the cops get called on us. So I'm thinking like, would it be like wits and like?
It'd be probably charisma. It'll probably let me see.
All right.
Yeah,
It'd be
probably
what?
charisma would be would be your attribute roll. Let's see, for the skill roll, it would be I would say in this case composure. Trying to keep up the facade. Or persuasion. Actually,
I was
more
gonna
so
say there is
probably.
no composure,
I was
not
thinking.
in not a skill. All right,
Shit, what
so
was I thinking of that?
I'll do persuasion and charisma. So that's a total of 7 dice. With I should have 3 hunger. Oh no, I have to. Okay. All right, so where do I go? I go here, and it's V. That little thingy. Nope, it's so difficult. That, and then it's 7 2. What? Don't do that to me. Did I do it wrong? Did I do it backwards, guys? Is it apostrophe V?
I can't say. I don't use the virtual dice roll.
There we go. So success. I got 3 successes.
All right. So, what do you say to him?
I'm gonna say, look, I'm sorry. You know how things are. Is there any chance you'd be willing to let us in there and just kind of get a quick glance at the body, kind of take a quick look at everything, and then we'll just be right out of your hair. It'd really save you some trouble from getting harassed by her, and save me a lot of trouble from having to bail her out of the situation from chewing your ass a new one.
Wait, I am harassing you?
Seems a bit of a vague assumption right there, he says. But he looks at you for a quick pause and says, "Can I look at your IDs one more time?"
I'm going to hold mine up and say multipass.
I'm gonna say you don't need to, and compel him.
Okay.
But flash up our badges anyway.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
Very well. Follow me, he says, as he turns around, going to the door on the opposite end of the room, and opens it, letting you all in. As you walk into the room, you see it's a dark room with only a few overhead lights, specifically over the center, where there is a table with a body draped in a sheet on it.
Creepy.
He walks over to the body, grabbing the sheet and pulling it down, showing the face. From what you can see of the face, it is a young man, either 19 or and probably in his early 20s. From the neck up, you see it's a similar case with Jennifer Vaughn, completely pale, two holes on the side of the neck.
Hmm.
I can tell you just from a glance, he says, that the body is in a similar state as the previous one.
Hmm.
Walks over to a nearby table, flipping a file on it, his hand playing with one of the tools right beside it. The name of the victim, he says, is Martino Galvez, age 21, was enrolled at the nearby college. Cause of death, I'm determining that right now, but he says as he starts to put on a set of gloves on his hands, a new set of gloves. But the cause of death seems to be blood loss. He walks over to the table, grabbing the sheet and pulling it down, showing his naked body. And from a glance, you can see that it is indeed similar to Jennifer's body. Slash marks, gashes on the side, anything to make the body completely brutalized.
Hmm.
Okay. Do we have? Could you give us at least a rough estimate on time of death?
Yeah. The death was probably around midnight, as a good guess, he said, from the night it happened. The cause of death, he says, as he tilts the head back, showing the holes on the side, seems to be from these holes right here. And similar to the body, similar to the first body, this one did not have as much blood as it needed to. So these wounds, he pointed down here, did not let out as much blood as they should have been from their severity.
Hmm. Hmm.
We have
This is very interesting.
we have reason to believe the body may have been moved. Were you able? Were there any type of thing that would be consistent with drag marks or similar?
Well, he says, not specifically, but he flips oh, they did some flip. He reaches over and he pulls out some photos, laying them on the side of the table towards you, showing the front and back of the body. We do see grasp marks underneath the thighs and along the left shoulder of this victim.
Grass marks?
Similar to grasp marks. You might
Like they've
think of it
been dragged
like
across the grass.
more so carried. As you can see, there's a hand mark underneath the left thigh and another hand mark on the left shoulder to the point of bruising. So I would think that they were carried out probably by a bigger force.
Okay.
And
How much does this victim weigh, would you say? 160? 190?
I would say he looks through the notes again. About 180. Bit on the thinner side overall.
And how much and are you saying that that'd be like after the blood loss? This is how much the body weighed?
Mm. After the blood loss, I would assume. Let me see something real quick. So it okay, I see now. So it'd only be a cost of a few pounds, I would say. Probably about 5 or 6 pounds. I will
Okay.
say that, judging by the coagulation of the wounds, he points down to the ones down. I would say that the killing blow was done with the wound up here, he said, and the body was moved. And wherever it was taken to, in this case, the alleyway, the rest of the wounds were delivered.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you're saying the torso wounds were administered post-mortem?
Mm-hmm. He says, like I said, these from how severe these wounds are, they should have let out a lot more blood, and they are much more fresh than the wound up on the neck. I found one other interesting note, he said, as he reaches over once again, some pulling out a few more photos. This time, detailing the face as he sets it on the end of the table, and then reaching over and grabbing onto the side of the head, pulling the eyes up a bit, showing you the hazed eyes of the individual.
Mm-hmm.
So a victim typically has average-sized pupils as well as hazed over eyes by the point of expiration, correct? Well, he holds up one photo showing the face. I noticed one thing. The eyes in this case are extremely dilated. The size of the iris is less pronounced than that of the pupil. And in the case of Galvez here, there were no drugs and no alcohol in his system.
Hmm. All right. Well, um, what we need to do now, and I'm like, and I start pulling away, and I'm like, Agent Hale, can y'all come over here?
Yeah, yes. What is it?
And we're gonna go like away, like to be able to like talk about this, but like out of like the guy, like the coroner's, like ability to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna say, well, this is looking very interesting.
What did he
Okay.
say? You were
Well,
talking across the room.
I was saying, the three of you, to come here over here and talk with me. Uh, I was saying, this is actually quite interesting. All of this, these little fine details that are popping up here and there. What are your thoughts on this?
What out of game?
Like,
What were the details that he
like
shared?
the wounds on the neck had been pre-existing on the first victim, so like those wounds had been there for who knows how long before they had gotten their slashes on their bodies.
So
You
we
know what
had
I
would
mean?
we had deduced what is he a thrall or is he just like
This
somebody?
guy that we're this guy that we're talking to doesn't. I don't think that they're a thrall. I think that they're just a simple employee, just doing their job.
No,
And
I meant the first victim.
ooh,
What was his name?
well, the first one was a female girl, and
Oh,
she
sorry, the
was
second victim. The second victim.
he was, what was his name? Hunter
Martino Gomez, Galvez. I'm sorry.
Galvez. So
Martino Galvez.
yeah, so Galvez. I just don't know. when none of them had anything in their system. So it's like they were purposely selected for, for this. And then it seems as if they were either falsely fed on or intentionally fed on and then viciously massacred, brutalized with the intention that the body would be found and imitating that of a vampire bite. You know what I mean? So it seems like there's a lot of evidence pointing to
But there's no drag marks on the body.
the drag marks are clear indications of like grass. Like he said, well, there was a grass on like the back and like on the shoulders and things like that.
Well,
So
it
like
said
there's
Okay.
like
grass stains.
well, it said like the victims showed signs that they're being carried away.
Yeah, like there's a bruising on like the inner armpit and on the like inner thigh, like the outer thigh area, like where somebody would like grab somebody, to hold them
Hmm.
and lift them up. So like these people were clearly drained of most of their blood and then taken to a location and then brutalized, and then whatever was left in them seeped out, because this coroner definitely is like, there should be way more blood in this body. So clearly he identified the body as being exsanguinated. So
Okay.
he's just not saying it. Which is bad. So
It appeared to be vampire deaths, but one was mauled after by animals. Oh God.
well, we
Sorry, my
can't,
ear.
like, the whole thing is we need to cover this up. It's not even like covering it up, but it's like because we can go in multiple directions, right? We can either like say that, like, I can, like, the paperwork for this first body has been filed, so we can't do anything with that. But the second body, the paperwork hasn't been filed, so truthfully, I could get this guy to, I could compel him to write an autopsy that basically says that this was like a brutal beating and a murder, unfortunate, like in an alleyway.
To sort of put the smoke off us. But I thought we needed the cops to investigate,
Yeah, but see, if we have them investigate too much,
or
then
whoever the vampires did this, who they needed the.
yeah, but if we do that too much, okay, then the real feds are gonna get pulled in,
Okay.
and then okay, once the real feds get pulled in, the Inquisition is gonna begin, and we're all gonna burn in the sun.
Okay.
So we don't want that.
Okay.
We want to try and keep this as small and as quiet as possible.
But we know what happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, Thrall, compel him to do that, and then.
I'm not a thrall.
Oh, sorry. Not Thrall. Compel him to do that is what I was saying.
I give her like a side eye. And I'll be like, all right. So I'll walk back in there and I'll say, oh hey, have you started the paperwork yet? To the coroner.
I've been sending a few reports over to the federals, to the police force. He says.
Okay.
Just my findings overall.
And that's when I'm gonna, like, kind of like hit him with the awe, so he like looks at me, and then I'm gonna compel him, and I'm gonna try and use my mesmerize and my forgetful mind ability. So let me see. Let me just kind of see if I can double down and kind of, double dip the chip here. Let's see, because I don't want to get this wrong. There it is. Okay. All specs, celerity. Fortitude. Went too far. Alright, so mesmerize. You can issue complex commands to a victim as long as they have the subject gaze in relative quiet in which an issued instructions. The instructions must be carried out immediately to the victim's best abilities and must not contain any conditional actions. If you see Henry, give him this document, as this would require the victim to exercise cognition. So since I'm right there, like with him by the computer, I'm literally just going to spoon feed him whatever the hell I want him to believe. And I'm going to um kind of obloviate some of the information that he is given and make it seem more so that like this was more of a brutalization of like from like a homeless person saw like or like a thief saw what this person had and wanted it, and it became like this all out massive mugging where like clearly this person had been like become like a victim to like a mass brutal like brutal like brutal outcome, like where like maybe like 3 or 4 people might have been involved. And let's say that the the Vic has like clear evidence of like grievous like knife wounds and a couple of bite wounds and scratches, and we'll say that like give like the details about the eyes so that there's more, and just saying like, oh, the Vic lost a lot of blood over time, so this is why this and then blah blah blah, and and just kind of give all the details, but just kind of exaggerate some of it to make it a little bit bigger, so that way it seems like it's not like a vampire that's gone off and drained this person to dry and then basically slaughtered them, and this is more of like a uh you know this kind of stuff happens. The kind of like random brutal beatings that kind of like happen, and like some people just end up getting murdered. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And this unfortunate bystander just so happened to be one. And that's basically because I can't do anything about the first murder, but I can cover up at least the second murder that has real ties to an actual vampire. So at least I'm helping in that way.
All right.
Out
Do you
of
want me
Now,
to?
game, Thomas and Hunter, my ear's been bugging me all day. Like it felt better, and now it's starting to throb and hurt again. Can you and Derek handle the rest of the show tonight?
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we could just
Talking is like because my ears closed up on the right side. Like anytime that I speak or breathe or hiccup or something, like it makes it worse.
That sucks.
So yeah.
yeah,
So
you
I'm gonna duck out, pretend that I go off and inquire about something, and then Dream and I will go off to our hotel or something, and then you guys continue investigating stuff, and then report back to us later. Is that okay?
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Okay.
good.
I'll still watch the thing so I can keep notes and pay attention, but I can't talk anymore. Like my ear, all this hurts
Yeah,
right now. So
yeah,
all right.
yeah. Yeah, go lay down. Take it easy. We got it.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. I will see you next time.
Goodbye,
Dream
Agent
and I will go to
Hale.
the hotel. Oh God, my freaking
Agent
hurts.
Hale out.
Agent Hale is going to Hale. Okay.
All right. So, so as you're giving instructions to him, he looks kind of dazed, but he does proceed to type into his computer, filing the report or sending it off. And he looks over you, still kind of dazed, and he says, "Is there anything else?"
Um, I'll let him remember that we were here and that we kind of kind of looked over things and whatnot. And I'll try and keep everything as authentic as possible. Only certain aspects of it are altered in just the slightest to where it keeps the same narrative, but everything around the victim, so to speak, and everything that the coroner is suggesting that caused it or whatever. I'm like, oh yep, it's that, but what about this? And like I'm adding to it to trying to be like, oh, like, oh, that wound's actually a little bit longer or deeper or whatever, to make it seem like it's not really what he's would have really seen, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I'm gonna try and cover it up as best as possible. And then at the end, when he goes to, like, once he's filed all everything, I'm gonna have him just be like, "Oh yeah, this is just like any other night. Just the feds came in and spoke to you, um, and then we're gonna head on out for the night, and I hope that you get a great night's sleep, and just take it easy. Being around all these dead people it's really gotta suck." And that'll be the last thing I say to him as we leave.
All right. As you make your ways out, you shut the door behind you, being greeted by the light overhead as well as the nearby vehicle where Dubstep is currently seated.
And is is Derek there?
Yes.
He's been with you.
Okay, I'll say, Derek, what were your thoughts on everything?
Uh, well, I'm kind of a little confused now. I mean, our working theory is that someone was trying to put the heat on the kindred, and based on what we just heard, it seems like they didn't need to. I'm kind of suspecting that we may actually have a copycat here.
Mm-hmm.
I also still want to try and go back to the site of the second victim. Well,
Mm-hmm.
the site where the victim was found. We saw that figure running away, and I don't see any other leads we have right now.
Well, would you like to go back to the crime scene, to Vic number 2's crime scene?
Do you think we'll be able to find anything fresh at this point?
I mean, how many days has it been, Hunter?
It's been a couple of nights.
Yeah, I fear that ship has sailed.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
I mean, if anything, we could at least pull up where we saw the person run off, and we can walk in that direction and see if they might have dropped something, and just go for a walk in the area.
Yeah, I mean, again, didn't we? Wasn't there like a hotel on the corner next to the second body site?
A hotel?
There was some kind of building on the corner that you described as being quite large. I thought it was a hotel, but I may be misremembering. It's been what been a few weeks.
Yeah, it's been like 4 weeks.
I wouldn't say it was a hotel. I'd say I'd have to have looked at my notes again about that. I don't think it was specifically a hotel. I think it was just the surrounding buildings. The closest building is of note is probably the casino that you guys are running.
Hmm.
Okay. Right. In that case, I was wrong. But what I was going to suggest.
So my question would be so this previous victim that just showed up, that was like near my place. That would make me feel uncomfortable.
Okay. I know. So I know you have surveillance around your place. I don't suppose we were fortunate enough to get any exterior footage.
I don't know. I'd have to get Dream on that. I don't really know about that kind of stuff. I just know that the circular black thing that sits on corners, or that square gray box over there with that pointy thing, that can see me, and people can find me because of that. So they're bad. That's at least what Dream told me.
Yes, I forget you aren't. What would you say? As au fait with 19th to 20th century technology as most.
I'm familiar with it. I totally understand it.
Yes, I'm definitely getting that impression.
No comment.
Let's see. Yeah, it feels like the trail almost as cold as the bodies.
Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. We could just, like I said, just kind of go sniffing around, just kind of walking around, kind of over near my hotel, not my hotel, my casino. Kind of see, just driving around the neighborhood a little bit, kind of getting an idea of the territory. Maybe see if there's an empty house or two in the area. Maybe we could swing by some, see some crackheads or something like that and pay them a visit. Just kind of see lower the lower section of the city so much, as one would say, the lower life. There's still people too. And they might have seen something or heard something. We never know. Would you be against that?
No, I mean that seems a logical approach.
So Hunter, I'm gonna have Dubstep drive us over to kind of like where, like, a block or two away. Because I'll be like, oh, the guy like ran off this way. You know what I'm saying? He'll be like, he ran off this way, and I'll have him pull over a couple blocks away from where the victim's body was located, and we'll start. Me and Thunder and Derek will start walking in the direction of where this would-be attacker had been seen running away from the scene of the crime. And I'll be attempting to kind of look for any signs of blood or anything that could have been left. Maybe fabric that might have matched maybe the material of the Vic's clothes or anything like that. I'll just be looking, just scanning for probably the next 2-3 blocks.
All right, so as Dubstep pulls you over into the new area, you're brought into the outer dregs of Las Vegas. You still see the lights from the city from far away, but at this point, this area of this area, you'll see that is a much lower end. It looks a bit more seedy. You see some homeless here and there, just on the sides. A few wandering into alleyways, and a few passerbys just going one way or the other.
Okay. Um, we'll get out and just kind of like start walking the street, I guess. If I see a few homeless people, I'll say, Hey, did y'all hear about that attacking over there? And like I'll point back in the direction of where this so-called uh vampire attack happened.
Your responses would be mixed. A few people would give a few details, but nothing that really would help with the case. They'll be saying, "Oh yeah, it looked like a giant. It looked like the mob went in there or something." And a few others would just be like, "Oh, you dumbass! It looked like a monster or something." And there'd just be a few conflicting reports here and there. And you would also come across a few people who were drugged out of their minds, going into very bizarre ravings about that night. Talk about the end times.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As you're talking though, you see one old lady on the end of one of the buildings, just sitting with a cup right at her side. She just kind of humming a small tune, looking over you and giving a small wave, looking a bit cheerful.
I'll wave at her. I'm just
Uh,
walking over to her. Say hello. Hi. Do you live around here?
oh, right. Oh yes, I stay at the local homeless shelter. She says. You could hear in her voice that she's probably missing a few teeth, which is kind of inflicting in her voice a little bit. But all is well, thank you, thank you. Do you have? She reaches over, holding up a cup. Have any spare change, sir? Just so I can have some food for tomorrow.
Yeah, pulls $100 bill out and puts it in her cup.
God bless you. God bless you, she says as she sits right beside her. You were the people who came through here earlier, weren't you?
Yep. Just doing a bit of investigating. Trying to understand. What seemed to be transpiring that night. By any chance, did you see anyone run this way, and maybe what they look like, what they're wearing? The night of that vicious crime, the beating of the man, just down the road.
I was. I don't know anything about no beating, she says. She looks at you, but then she says, "Where are the rest of your friends?"
Huh? I'll look around. Where are my friends?
Like
This old
closest
lady
to
gonna eat me?
closest to you, you see is Derek, as Heaven and Dream are still in the vehicle with Dubstep.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, so I guess he's. Yeah, she just looks at the group and she says, "You doesn't look like everybody's here. You were with you were with your friends that night, weren't you? Are you not with each other?"
I'm confused.
Which friends are you thinking of, man?
Yeah, what are you thinking of?
Oh, like a Dream and Heaven were there that night too, and they're both currently in the vehicle.
Yeah, but they probably can't be seen while in the vehicle because it's
Well, I
like
mean,
tinted
she
windows and
saw them the
things.
other night as
Okay,
your
yeah.
group just.
Well, I'm letting her know. I'm like, well, it's just me and a couple of others. What does any of that have to do with the criminal escaping? Do do you know anything about that?
Uh, I was just wondering. She seems a bit lost as she looks up to you. I just what that one friend with the trench coat looked very sad. It looked very upset when he ran by.
Fellow with a trench coat. Did you see what his face might have looked like, or any details other than just the trench coat? Maybe was he wearing shoes? Maybe what kind, color, pants? Maybe skin color, hair color? And if so, what direction did they go in? Straight ahead, left, right?
I don't know. She says, and he looked to be in his 50s. I assumed he was your friend since he ran off farther down that street, and you ran up a little bit after. I thought you were looking for him, or I don't.
Hunter, what are you talking about? I'm trying to remember what the situation that you're talking about unfolded.
That situation where you guys were at the second crime scene, and one of you saw someone who was spying on you and ran off.
Oh, I only chased him for like a brief moment, and then
Yes.
because I couldn't catch up with them because they disappeared, I'd stopped chasing them.
Yeah, she saw him.
Okay. Does it seem like she knows what direction he went?
She said further down the road,
Mm-hmm.
but she still seems rather confused. Most she could say is that it was a man in a trench coat. He had something shiny in his coat too. I saw it. She said it. It hurt my eyes when he ran under the light and it reflected.
Was it a gun, do you think? Maybe a knife? Or a mirror?
What do you guys think?
I don't know. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
All I can really say in this case is that Dream has more details about this.
Well, Dream is a horrible information gatherer.
Right.
Because Dream's sitting in the back of the car, not sharing any information. I was gonna ask if you guys wanted to cut this game at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, that if that's what you're feeling, that'll be fine. It's what you guys want.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it really works better when we have all four players. It gets a little bit slow walked otherwise. So yeah, 9 sounds good.
Well, right now it kind of stinks because it's like she's like Dream is basically sitting in the back seat and has critical information that all of us need, and Dream isn't here tonight, so the critical information that we need we can't get until that player shows up, which sucks.
Right. Real quick, you want to take a small 10-minute break? I gotta rush to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be right back.
But yeah. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into tonight's episode of Vampires the Masquerade Vegas by Night. We really appreciate that you're sticking with us and kind of watching what we're doing. We do have a few games going on other nights of the week. So if it interests you and you guys like it, come and hang with us. Craig, you play. I think you play in 2 games with us now. I thought you were playing in 3, but I think you're playing in 2, right?
Yep. In addition to this vampire, I take part every Monday in a Dungeons and Dragons game, which is Waterdeep Dungeons of the Mad Mage. Please check it out. It's usually around 7 p.m. Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
If you enjoy D&D, although I'm not playing it, on alternate Thursdays they have a Rime of the Frost Maiden campaign or a custom a custom homebrew campaign run by another one of our great Old Dominion Heroes crew, and that is based around, I believe, escaping from Baba Yaga.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what other games they run, but I think that's the main ones.
Yep. I think we're still planning on doing a few other cool one shots here and there. We haven't gotten around to our battle royale yet, which I'm really upset about. Super excited for it, but we still haven't done it yet. Ugh. It's just trying to get like 6 people to kill each other is very hard to do. Apparently.
Yep, and it's even harder to get them to play the D&D characters.
For real. But yeah, this if you're still watching and you're listening to us, type something down in the chat, like let us know you're there. We'll talk to you. We're on break. Say hey. I am worried that they can't hear us. Because for me on my Twitch, it's like buffering. What about for you?
No, it looks to be working fine, but I have the audio muted because I don't want to have it double and screw up the stream.
Honey, do not pull a maid.
I wish they would come out with like a book in Dungeons and Dragons of like all of these crazy different familiars you could get as a wizard. That'd be so cool. Like you could get like and it doesn't even have to be like a familiar. It could be like pets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, some kind of critter companion or something would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no. Okay. Okay. Out of game. Where does Thomas, as opposed to Sander, think this game is going?
Whew. I definitely think that this game is headed in a direction that is calling. Basically, I think that either humans and or half-bloods are purposely trying to draw attention to vampires here in Vegas to get all of us killed, or at least have the Inquisition show up. That's what me Thomas thinks is going on. Thander thinks that the Inquisition is trying to move into Vegas with severe aggression. What is that sound?
What sound?
It's like popping.
Oh, that may have been me typing.
No, it sounded like my dog was chewing like a bone or something.
Oh, it's on your end?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, well, I'm ready to continue on if you guys are.
Mm-hmm. That was like a 3-minute break, but it's all good.
All right, so you just finished talking to the old lady. She gave you her input, giving some vague details about the guy who was running from you that night that you went to inspect the second crime scene, stating specifically that he had a trench coat, and that within that trench coat she saw something shiny as it reflected off of an overhead light.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we all know what that super small and like shiny thing was that reflected light off of it. So we all know exactly what that was. A Zippo lighter.
A lighter?
A Zippo lighter. We figured it out.
Right.
It wasn't a penis the whole time.
Oh God, God knows. You
The
you
guy
pulled
running
up.
around in Las Vegas wasn't just like one of the guys that reveals themselves. It was actually
Serial flasher.
serial flasher. It was secretly a Nosferatu. He's like, I can't look at myself in the mirror. It's like, all of you must look at me.
All right.
Oh my goodness.
Right. So as you walk back up to the vehicle, Dubstep rolls on the window, looking at you both with barely any hint of emotion, and asks, "Were your excursions fruitful, sirs?"
Yeah, I think we found out that our criminal was a serial flasher.
He says. He looks forward. Rather horrifying. As he rolls the window back up.
Give me a second. Guts. No. I was wondering what that sound was. I literally realized that my dog was downstairs eating my son's shoes.
Oh, those probably ain't cheap.
It's okay.
A split second, the window rolls down and Dubstep looks back at you and he says, "If I should happen to see a flopping sausage during my drives, you'll be the first I let know, sir."
Oh,
He rolls it back up.
Huh. Very dedicated servant you have there.
He's one of the best.
Makes me worry for who you think the worst are.
In Vegas, I mean, he's the best in Vegas so far.
Ah. Yeah, that tracks. Okay, I think we might need quite literally more manpower.
Yeah, let's go back to the casino.
I was thinking we could probably try and get in touch with our mutual friend who's Camarilla adjacent. His name was Benny?
Marcus.
Marcus. I think I get Benny from Marcus. That's impressive. So Marcus, yeah. I think we'll see if there's been anything through the back channels of unusual thin blood activity.
All right. So as you get back into the back seat of the vehicle, you see Dream just at the far corner, very furiously typing away at her computer, barely even noticing you, even if you give her so much as a wave. And in the other side of the vehicle, you see Miss Heaven Darling arguing a very light argument with Yogur, though Yogur seems to be more heated of the two. And as you sit
going on
down,
over here, it's like I'm like motioning over to like Yogur.
and when you look over to him, he just looks over at you with a look that says, "Do not butt in," before he gets back into arguing with her.
So Thander will he'll look over at Derek and he'll say, "Well, what do they say? Mikasa es su casa, my friend. I'm starting to get hungry. Good night." And Thander will head off to bed.
We're at the casino now, right?
Yeah.
All right. So as he then wanders to bed and leaving Eric. Oh, one sec. Okay. All right. So Thander takes off, heading for his coffin, getting in before closing the lid, leaving Derek alone in the foyer or the general area of the casino. Most you can see around him are guards, occasionally talking. You see a few maintenance workers hitting along the side the slot machines, making sure they're still in shape, making sure the place is ready for when it eventually opens.
But yeah, Thander will he'll start to retire for the night. He'll start getting everything kind of like closing everything up and kind of checking in with everybody and kind of making sure that everybody has everything they need before the night shift ends and the day shift comes around. And then I'll look over at Derek and say, "Derek, is there anything that you want? Anything you need? Place to stay?" Derek? Hello?
Oh, sorry, my thing got muted for some reason. Yeah, Derek is still trying to head down to the basement,
Mhm.
to the security footage room, the camera room that we were in pre-dawn. Well, pre-dusk, sorry, post-dawn. Pre-dawn would be a problem for most vampires.
Mhm.
And he did watch Dream manipulate some of the cameras and the computers. He wants to attempt to see if he can find a camera was pointed to the casino exterior, roughly in the area where the second body was found.
All right,
Yeah.
as he looks over the footage, the camera quality unfortunately seems to be of much lower quality. But from one of the glimpses that he could get, he could see that he can in the darkness from the footage behind the graining, he could make out two figures running in and out of the alleyway. But from what I could see from the glimpse, he could see that one of them was indeed carrying something over their shoulder that was not there when they left.
Hmm.
Am I able to discern enough of a resolution that I can see if the one person is wearing a trench coat?
From the footage, you really can't make out too much of the details, but you don't see any trailings leading down to their feet, so it's safe to say that neither one of them was wearing a trench coat.
Okay.
Hmm.
Right. And we see roughly which direction the two individuals, I don't want to make any assumptions here, were headed.
They left the alleyway, and when they did, they made their way towards inner Las Vegas, towards where the bigger buildings were.
Oh, headed towards the strip. Okay.
Hmm?
Right. So since Vander is caffeinated right now,
Getting ready to be, yes.
Okay. Let's see. Dream and Heaven are otherwise engaged. So it really is just Derek. He's going to roll through the footage a couple more times just to try and see if he can get it like some kind of height differential between the two people, or if you can figure out if one of these two running people is male or female or what have you. Just trying to see as much detail as he can get, which I'm sure isn't going to be much, but just trying to do something.
From the physique you can get from them, you can see that they're both male. They both have rather broad shoulders. But you can definitely make out that one is at least a head taller than the other one. The other one looks to be about average height, about on average with Eric and Thander.
Okay. Right. So I'm going to note that. I'm going to note that down for discussion later.
Mm-hmm.
Since, again, only one awake, so I've got a bit of time to kill. Right. Excuse me. Let's see what else can I realistically do without getting more information from people. Let's see. Does Sander still have his beat up Nokia phone?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, where would you keep that? Would you keep it on your nightstand or
No,
on the person?
Like, I mean, so Theodore doesn't sleep like in a conventional coffin, right? He sleeps like in a bed like a normal person does, but he just like, everything is like tented. Like he either sleeps in a room that doesn't have windows or he sleeps in a room that has like severely tinted and blacked out windows for when the sun comes out. And yeah, like his phone is just sitting on one of those simple chargers. And he, if it goes off, he just rolls over and answers it.
Okay.
He says, "Yeah, Thander speaking."
Who's he saying that to? I was just literally.
Oh, I thought you were calling him.
No, I don't have a phone on me. I was going to. Derek was going to grab the phone once Xander was no longer using it because he's sleeping.
Oh yeah, you take it.
I'm going to go ahead and assume from his technological expertise that his unlock password is either non-existent or 1234.
It's all ones.
Okay, that would have been my third guess. So yeah, just do that real quick. Try a couple of guesses. Sees it unlocks. Goes to the old contacts. Sees an M from Marcus or whatever the most. Yeah, it would either be there under contacts, or I believe that the most recent person to talk to Xander on that phone was Marcus. So it would be the last call. So either way, just basically trying to reach out and call Marcus.
Okay, so the phone rings for a little bit before picking up, and eventually you hear a voice saying, "This is Marcus. What do you need?"
I need a meeting.
This is Derek, right? He says.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. Where are my manners? Yes, this is Derek.
All right. You hear a bit of a shuffle from his end, sounding like he probably got up from a chair, and he asks, "Have you got any leads?"
We have, I believe Dream has a little information. We have a group of suspects, if you excuse the profiling, and was hoping we're meeting with a few of the, shall we say, more sociable members of your organization, just for a little bit of, let's call it gossiping.
I guess a group meet is what you meet, he says.
I didn't catch that, DM. What was that?
I guess a group meet is what you mean.
Yes, I mean, we're more than happy to come to you.
No, he says, I'll come to you. He looks over. You hear him shuffle a bit more before he looks back at the phone. I could be there in a few hours. Will you still be around?
It's getting close to dawn, but judging by the sky, could we do it maybe a half hour after sundown tomorrow?
He sighs a little bit, looks over his as you hear him flip through a book a bit more before you hear it shut, and he replies, "All right, I can squeeze in about a half hour of time to see you."
Perfect. Thank you very much. And with that, Derek just hangs up the phone, doesn't say bye or anything, just disconnects, puts it back on the nightstand, and let's see. At this point,
Actually, technically, he wouldn't even snore because they don't breathe.
But just put it in for comedic effect, I guess.
Yeah. Vander's pretending to sleep. And, like, as you leave, he opens his eye back up. And then he reaches over for his Nokia and goes back to playing the snakes. Like the snake game. Where you can't eat your own tail. He's like,
Hey, you need some downtime.
mm-hmm.
All right.
right.
So, would that be a good place to call the game for now?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I guess we can have Derek either stay a coffin or take a taxi back to the Olympus Casino and stay in his suite for a comfortable day's rest.
And then Agent Hale will probably go back to her confidants. I figure, right? Whatever. Not I would
Quote
have her.
unquote hail.
Yeah, Agent Hale, also known as Vampire Heaven.
And she actually brought up earlier how we were coming up with code names for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like how you said yours was Dry Fargo. She brought up how initially it was going to be like Dry Fig.
That's pretty funny.
So real quick.